And we are back live in Tucson, Arizona for the Simple Green Race for 8. My name is Dave Vincent. This is the opening rally between David Chapman and Sean Lenning, starting 7 minutes early.
Maybe they know how important keeping the courts on time are to you, Dave. It's actually a big part of your life. You want things to run smoothly.
It's 0-0, although Sean Lenning would be leading 1-0 here with that side out.
So we do want to keep the rally scoring here, okay.
We're going to test out what rally scoring would bring us and the time it would take to complete a match, as the pro players unanimously voted at a rules committee meeting the other night that they'd like to go to rally scoring, so we're going to check it out. Rally scoring means that the server scores and also the person returning the serve also scores when they get a side out. So you very well could see that before the race season ends. We had a kind of a strange anomaly in the last game where Luis Moreno defeated Nadi Alvarado 21-10 in 26 minutes and 45 seconds. And in rally scoring, the same score would have happened, but 16 minutes and 45 seconds was the time it took. So the players do like the fact that the score is the same, but the time is different.
Well, we'll see if the score is the same, if that was an anomaly, or if that's a trend that holds up. Not a smart shot there from Sean Lenning. And this is what Dave Chapman can do. He takes Sean Lenning out of his game. He doesn't allow him to really get started by slowing the ball down. And we saw this, Dave, in the finals of the WPH Minnesota Pro Stop 12 months ago. Dave Chapman dominated Sean Lenning 21-2, 21-6. I'm not sure what Dave was asking for there.
He wanted an avoidable.
Well, I know he wanted the avoidable. I'm not sure what rule he was referring.
Well, he said that the referee said that you had the whole right side,
right,
and Dave Chapman said that's not the rule. The rule is I get a straight shot to the front wall.
But he did have a straight shot. He had
and he hit Sean Lenning.
Right, he had the whole 10 feet of the front wall to hit.
There's another point now for David Chapman. 4-0. Sean Lenning looked like he was on fire last night. Now Dave Chapman.
And look at this terrible body language from Sean Lenning, Dave. It's just nothing like what we saw yesterday against Charlie Shanks, where he had that adrenaline and that energy.
See if Sean can get something going here on the serve. This is game number 1, men's semifinals here in Tucson, Arizona for the Simple Green Race for 8. That ball hit Sean Lenning. Wow, that ball hit Dave Chapman right in the face. It was a crack, and he was going to go to the fist, and it just came right off his hand and underneath his chin. And there's another crack serve from Sean Lenning. Dave's able to dig it out, though.
And a flat kill there from Sean Lenning.
Don't know if Sean wants to play at the pace that he did last night against Charlie Shanks, but already he's shown us that he's got that kill shot in effect. 3 quick points now for Sean Lenning after Dave Chapman went out 4-0.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a timeout here from Dave Chapman, should Sean Lenning win this rally.
There's a second serve.
And Sean Lenning in a great position there. He could have hit that 2 feet high and won that rally. But instead he went for the bottom board and did not connect.
Now, if we were doing rally scoring, the lead would be Dave Chapman's, just like it is now, but he'd be leading 6-5 instead of 4-3.
And Sean Lenning very fortunate there. Hits the 3-ball shot, catches the third wall 2 inches high and cracks out flat. Look at this amazing action.
There was contact, but I believe Dave could have still played that. And I don't know if you're reffing. What do you say there, Dave? Dave Chapman stops on the first instant of contact, but he could have easily have walked back and got that ball.
Well, I think that's the offensive player's decision. Was that a point there, Dave?
That was a crack serve. That was a
Okay.
point. It was appealed by Dave Chapman, and it was overturned. I wouldn't say overturned. It was agreed upon by the line judges. Ace serve. Dave Chapman's really having to extend himself here against Sean Lenning, who gets that point, and he has a local crew here that really loves his play. And Dave Chapman now calling a timeout. You're watching the Simple Green Race for 8, brought to you by the World Players of Handball, live here at racefor8.com. My name is Dave Vincent, alongside David Fink. Sean Lenning goes down that hallway and takes a breather, and you see the crowd here watching the matches.
We will have an opportunity, Dave, to hear some words from both these players who were interviewed earlier this year at the NYAC in Manhattan. Both these guys sharing some of their thoughts about the sport, their opponents, and their goals.
And the next time out, we will hear from Sean Lenning in that interview. Sean Lenning giving us an interesting perspective about his rivals, and we'll go to that interview after the next timeout. 20 seconds is called from the referee. You're watching game number 1 of the men's semifinals. Sean Lenning representing the Seattle WAC team. Ironically enough, he actually lived in Seattle, Washington for a long time, Shoreline, Washington, in fact, and even worked out at the Washington Athletic Club, and it just kind of worked out randomly, but now he represents that team, and Dave Chapman representing Jake Plummer's Idaho Spud team.
Great shot from Sean Lenning. He has that fish shot that he can drive right back down the right wall when he's got his opponent in the center of the court.
6-4 is the score.
And look at Sean Lenning, just completely on fire now, Dave. Falling back, right corner kill.
7 serving 4.
Yesterday, Sean Lenning's dismantling of Charlie Shanks was one of the most impressive handball that we've seen since watching Paul Brady play singles.
I agree with you. And even the great Paul Brady struggled against Charlie Shanks in their last encounter.
Yeah, but that was with a broken finger, Dave.
That's a good point.
Dave Chapman saying that Sean Lenning's getting going while the referee is calling the score. I mean, Sean is a quick server, but technically he didn't have that ball out of his hand and he didn't drop it. And now Sean Lenning is starting to pull away here. Dave Chapman's going to do all the things that he normally does in order to kind of stall, and that is dive for the ball, ask for a towel, as we lose our audio here in the booth once again.
10 serving 4.
10 serves 4.
Good return there from Dave.
Nice shot from Dave Chapman. Left corner kill from a dive paddle shot, looking for the towel. You're watching the Race for 8, brought to you by Simple Green. We do apologize about the audio difficulties that we have here.
Well, no one can actually hear that apology. So are you apologizing to me?
That'll be the first. Each apology that you ever get will be the first one that you get from me.
Actually, that doesn't make sense, because if you apologized before, wouldn't it be the first the next time?
There's a side out.
And that's actually Dave Chapman's first error of the match. Yet he trails 10-4. Sean Lenning, Dave, has already made 5 errors. But the difference is Sean Lenning is also ending most of these rallies with winners.
The second serve, Sean goes for a crack on that second serve, and that's just something he does. And there's a side out, which, if we were to give rally scoring, would give a point to Dave Chapman.
4 serving 10.
Score is 4-10.
That's the shot that Dave Chapman loves to hit. Unfortunately for him, misses that shot.
Now Sean Lenning is serving once again here at 10-4. It's really quiet in Tucson.
Well, especially when our headsets don't work. Sean hits the skinny V pass and sets up that overhand kill. Absolutely an amazing shot from Sean Lenning, Dave. And for those of us who have played him, we know that that's one of his best shots.
Sean doesn't have that pace that he had last night. Earlier today, he already had a round of big ball where he defeated Luis Cordova. He's also playing in the big ball pro division and is in the semifinals versus Sal Duenas. And there's a timeout called right there from Dave Chapman. He's already called 2. Earlier in the year, we sat down with Sean Lenning and we had a conversation with him at the NYAC. In fact, I believe you did, Dave, and you asked him, who are your greatest rivals in today's game? And this is what Sean said.
Well, pretty much everybody. I mean, everybody's beat me at one point. So I think it's myself that's probably my biggest rival, because I could play really bad sometimes and really good other times. But I guess I'd play Brady, of course, because I've never beaten him. And yeah, he's the one that you gotta kind of think about.
That's Sean Lenning talking about his rivals of today, and you had a chance to sit down and talk to him on the air and also off the air. What was your
Well, it's interesting, Dave,
impression of
because
him?
Sean is so honest, but yet he's also so humble. But I agree with everything that he said. If Sean is on top of his game, I don't really think he has many rivals, because he can blow just about anybody off the court. But he does mention Paul Brady, and that's the one guy that I don't think he can blow off the court. Not saying that he can't beat Paul Brady, but if he does, it would be just an incredible match, just like what we saw in 2007 between those two when Paul Brady defeated him 11-10.
Second serve.
And Sean Lenning just absolutely playing incredible handball right now.
It seems really quiet in there, but
13 serving 4.
Sean Lenning's running up the score while it's quiet, and there's another point right there, and now 14-4. If we were doing rally scoring, Sean Lenning would have 19 points to Dave Chapman's 8. Make that 20-8, and the time is 13 minutes and 45 seconds.
So what we're seeing, Dave, is, and you see Dave Chapman standing now right at the restraining line. And that does not affect Sean Lenning, as he just rips an ace, and game number 1 ends in, well, excuse me, Dave, in rally scoring. I'm so confused here. Sean Lenning would have won that game 21-8 in just about 14 minutes. As it stands with traditional handball scoring, it's Sean Lenning leading 15-4.
Actually, that was a broken ball, and therefore nothing took place, Dave. So we're still in our hypotheticals.
I didn't realize that.
The next time Sean Lenning scores would be the end of a traditional rally scoring match.
And we saw the last game would have ended between Luis Moreno and Nadia Alvarado in 16 minutes and 45 seconds with rally scoring. We'll be approaching that exact mark with almost the exact score should Sean Lenning win one of these next couple of rallies. And that'll do it. And Dave Chapman making just his second error. And I'm so confused here, Dave, and I think everyone at home will also be just as confused. But were we to be playing rally scoring, which we will be using in Fresno in just about a month's time, Sean Lenning would have won that game 21-8 in 14 minutes and 45 seconds.
One disagrees, one agrees.
Dave Chapman.
Okay, we're going to go to the replay booth here. Linda, if you can cue this up, Sean Lenning is going to go to the booth here. He believes that that ball was good, and they called it short. So let's see if we can look at the serve here from Sean Lenning. Slow it down right after the impact of the front wall, and people all of a sudden coming in to watch this instant replay.
That's a foot fault, first of all.
Go back. Let's go back and look at it one more time. Stop right there. I believe the ball is short. I see it as short. The ball can stop right on that line. We're in the middle of an instant replay. There it is right there. You can see the ball on the way up, and you can see it's before the red line on the way up. That's a good shot right there.
You obviously have much better eyes, or you seeing something that I don't see, because I can never judge those balls.
And the ball, you can see the red on that before the ball even comes back up, and that was a good review right there. Unfortunately for Sean, it was just a second serve, and he's leading.
Unfortunately, Dave, for the older generation, I think that we're seeing the mid-30s guys being pushed out of the top elite ranks here in the game. As you saw, Nati Alvarado Jr. just completely throttled by Luis Moreno. Nati Alvarado, 38 years old. Dave Chapman, 36 years old, and he's experiencing the same fate here against another guy who's in his mid-20s, in his prime. This is a young person's game, Dave.
19-4, I believe, is the score here.
19 serving 4.
Now, at the first race stop, it was Nati Alvarado, 38-year-old Nati Alvarado, facing Luis Moreno, and Moreno won that match. And then and Moreno, 24 years of age, and then in Fountain Valley, California, for the U.S. Open, it was Robbie McCarthy in his mid-20s facing Charlie Shanks in his mid to late 20s.
I thought Robbie McCarthy was just 22. I could be wrong, though.
This is game point for Sean Lenning, who's 26 years of age, up against a aging David Chapman, and there it goes.
So in 19 minutes and 25 seconds, Sean Lenning takes game number one, 21-4. And, you know, Dave Chapman didn't look all that bad in there, Dave. I mean, you know, we didn't really know what to expect, what his condition would be like after playing around yesterday. But Sean Lenning just completely overpowering and overwhelming.
Well, Dave, you have to remember, Chapman went up 4-0 against Sean Lenning and never scored again. He was outscored 21-0 right there. I mean, look at the score. 21-4 is the score, and Sean Lenning can't wait for this 3-minute timeout to go by, because he's going to jump right back on the court. We're going to take a quick timeout here in the booth, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. You stick around here at racefor8.com.
That's what I mean. He gives you don't take it. He wasn't doing it. He was going to try and round everything, right?
That's what I do. Most people have trouble with
You cut it off.
I bang it with my fist all over the place. And, you know, and then he eventually goes away from it. He will go away from it. 'Cause it's not,
1 minute
I'm not letting it
remaining.
roll around.
Yeah, you
here
come
over
down
here.
here, you're gonna set him
You
up.
let it roll around here and it does funny things off the basketball. And
Okay.
I just got it.
He just needs, I think you need to put it a little bit more on the wall. You're able to, you're getting to it every time. And if he puts it a little on the wall, then you gotta worry about it. So I think, you know, he's trying to make it diameter, you know. 30 seconds is a tough. Like you gotta put it on the wall.
Yeah. Because it's 3 minutes. He got mad at me. He wants it this way. It's a rough one. But then he'll get a shot over there and he'll say, what you think is your back for? He's way stronger than that. He turns around and takes the ball.
And we are back live here in Tucson, Arizona for the Simple Green Race for 8 conclusion of this match between Sean Lenning and Dave Chapman. It was Sean Lenning scoring 21 first, defeating Dave Chapman by the score of 21-4. Dave Chapman jumped out, Dave Fink, to a 4-0 run there, and then Sean Lenning went out to his own 21-0 run here in the semifinals. And we're getting ready for game number 2.
0 serving 0.
0-0.
Dave Chapman in the booth between games, Dave, and he said that just can't get started. Can't make that quick first step that he needs to return the serve. And we were talking, Dave, off the air, just how difficult that is. And I think we can relate. We're both in our 30s, you just entering your 40s, but you see the ball and you just can't move to it the way that you'd like to.
2 serving 0. Short. Second serve.
Amazing serve from Sean Lenning. Dave Chapman knew he was going for that left crack, and
3 serving 0.
3 serve 0 is the score.
even Sean Lenning's recovery shots, Dave, are just so good. Even when you have him jammed, he still puts Dave Chapman in the backcourt with not much of a shot. And there's an error there from Dave Chapman, who made only 2 errors en route to losing 21-4 in game number 1. A lot of times, Dave, you see a guy lose 21-4. He's made 10 or 15 errors putting balls on the floor. But Dave Chapman not making errors, but also not putting the ball away.
Second serve.
And Sean Lenning there with a very strange error. That was such an easy shot for him. I believe, Dave, that we found ourselves possibly a new lead referee. I mean, this ref is just doing an incredible job. He was on the court before the match. He let the players know what he expected from them. He's staying very much in control of this match, and that's the first point Dave Chapman scored since he scored the 4th point and led 4-0 in game number 1. So it was Sean Lenning scoring 25 consecutive points. And ironically, every one of Dave Chapman's points has come on a Sean Lenning left-handed backwall skip on the lob serve.
Look at Sean Lenning's underhand modified Irish whip into that right corner. That was a beautiful shot. In the crowd, you can kind of hear them gasping from our location. 4-1. Just over the line. That's impossible to get back, Dave. That thing fades away too. I mean, it's a reverse, believe it or not, that's actually, it's just unbelievable. It just dies. I don't even know.
The ball's actually a blur when it hits the court. It looks like it actually slides when it hits the floor. And Dave Chapman, Dave, much like Naughty Jr., but even more demonstrative in the way that he's losing these matches now. Went from being the national champion just 5 months ago, and now he's losing 21-4, 21-0. He's on his way to losing again here 21-1 or 21-2. I mean, you wonder can his ego and pride take this?
Both agree.
Sean Lenning appealed that serve, but it was clearly short. Here's a second serve. Sean's second serve's amazing, Dave. He goes for that deep crack and he gets it. And that's what he does every single time on a second serve. He said, that's just my style. That's how I roll. But no one else really tries to roll like that. Luis Moreno will go for it because he's had conversations with Sean about it.
Well, years ago he did. I don't think they speak anymore.
Sean
That's
had
one of
to,
the rare times that Sean missed playing a ball.
well, he had to go around, and I think he was going to try to jump in and nab that ball off the side wall, and then realized he couldn't get it and had to go all around Tucson just to get to it.
1 serving 8.
Here's Dave Chapman changing up his serve, and
Sean Lenning went for the left punch kill. I think that was the right shot. Just missed it by about 2 inches.
2 serving 8.
score here is 2-8.
Beautiful revolving door kill, and that's a ball I believe Dave Chapman gets to and puts away if he has that explosive first step, because we all saw that ball going into that left corner and did hang up barely, and that's a ball that normally Dave Chapman does get. How do you explain, Dave Vincent, as we watch a flat rollout from Dave Chapman, that Dave Chapman is able to take down Alan Garner, but yet comes in against Sean Lenning and Luis Moreno and really can't even
2 serving
be
8.
remotely competitive?
I just think it's an additional round for him. He was fresh. That was his opening round.
I actually believe the style of Luis Moreno and Sean Lenning,
Constantly
power
keeping the
and
pressure up.
well, it's the serve that really starts everything. Dave Chapman can't do anything with that serve.
Score is 3-8 here. Dave Chapman serving to Sean Lenning. This is the men's semifinals, and make that 4-8.
That's a beautiful shot there from Dave, as he takes a ball that, as you say, is fading away from him as Sean Lenning hits the natural, and he punch fists it back down the right wall about 2 inches high. Sean Lenning nearly picking it up.
Like that could have been called short.
I thought it was good.
Hold it. Replay.
Now the referee called hold it there, but not because it was a screen, but for safety reasons.
I actually don't think that because of safety. I just don't think that he thought Dave had a shot with Sean Lenning staying right on top of the ball. And there's Dave finally able to take the ball up to the ceiling. He hasn't had that opportunity as Sean's kept Dave so far back on his heels. That's not a good shot there for Dave.
Wow.
That won't go down as an error because he didn't put the ball on the floor, but we both know that it was an error because he turned a setup into a bigger setup for Sean Lenning.
Sean Lenning back in the box, serving at 8-4. This is game number 2. He defeated Chapman in the first one, 21-4.
8 serving 4.
Sean looks like he's winded here just a little bit.
And you see, Dave, Sean, even when he's playing defense and recovering, he still makes great shots.
There's another point for Sean Lenning. Someone's going to have to call a timeout here. I believe they're both winded. Sean Lenning's looked like he's putting a lot out. And you're right, you know, he had to put his hand on that ball, and you see he had to flip it over to the right side, and that takes a lot out of you to do that. There's just over the line. Sean Lenning gets that, and now gets another point.
And watching Sean Lenning and Luis Moreno, Dave, is almost like watching racquetball. These guys just hit the ball so hard, every shot with both hands.
10 serving 4.
They're not looking to rally either, Dave. Like these racquetball pros, they're looking to end the point from everywhere on the court.
Point.
And they do.
Scoring.
Dave, this is why racquetball did go to one serve, because there just weren't rallies. It was just ace after ace. We saw Luis Moreno hit 18 aces in 2 games against Nadu Jr. Sean Lenning already with 14 aces through 1 game and a half.
Gosh, look at that serve right there from Sean Lenning.
And Dave does not put that away. Terrible shot. And now Dave patty cakes the ball, and Sean unable to put that away.
Sean looks like he's just walking to that shot.
Well, Sean loses interest in rallies if it goes beyond 5 shots. So if you can somehow extend the rally beyond 5, he's bored. He waits for the next point.
First timeout. 60 seconds.
And a timeout is being called by Dave Chapman. Earlier in the year, we sat down with Dave Chapman at the New York Athletic Club. In fact, you did, and you asked him what has the WPH meant to handball? And this is what he had to say.
Well, Dave Vincent's the reason I even came back to handball. He talked me into playing in that Detroit event when I played Emmett Bichot. And he is just, he's very, very good for the sport. What he's done to get pro handball back is just amazing. He's got a lot of charisma, and him and the organization are the reason why we still have pro events like this one.
There's Dave Chapman.
And you put that check in the mail.
No,
How much did that cost you?
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Oh,
and
okay.
I now that I know that exists, that little clip, we're going to play it.
Okay.
Towel timeouts, when the towel boy comes out, it's a fairly quick clip, but I think he gets to the point and says the right things. And now that I know that he said it, we're going to play that more often. I don't know if I was missing when that one aired at the Nationals when we first debuted this, but I like what he had to say there. Score here is 4 serves 11.
Does he know what charisma is? I thought that meant you had to actually talk to people.
I have. I yell at them.
It's called the commanding approach. Leading through threats.
He calls it charisma. There's another point for Sean Lenning. If we were playing rally scoring, Sean would be up 16-8 right now. Instead, he's up 12-4.
Seems like you would have already had 21, but that's what you get when you just guess. You've got the actual scorecard.
I have better record keeping than you do.
Well, you are the secretary of the WPH, so that makes sense.
There's a nice shot right there. Sean Lenning takes that point out of the air.
And Sean just makes the game look so easy. Serve, flat kill. Serve, ace.
13-4.
It's pretty simple when you break it down that way. Hit a 90-mile-per-hour serve with a foot of hop on it, or catch the crack. Look at this shot from Sean Lenning.
There's just nothing Dave can do. He's trying to go up to the ceiling, but it's so hard to do.
Well, I'm trying to think, Dave, even if Dave had that explosive first step, what could he do with these serves? Sean's waiting to pounce on every return.
Sean looks so strong right now.
Second serve. Side out.
And there is a side out. Dave Chapman going back into the box. Now, Sean Lenning, if he does go on here to defeat Dave Chapman, will be going after Luis Moreno, who's going to be waiting for him in the finals, and that's going to be one heck of a showing tonight here in Tucson.
I can't wait for that matchup. And remember, Dave, the last time those guys played in Idaho, Sean Lenning held a 9-6 as we watch a beautiful patented Dave Chapman dive flat kill in the left corner. But Sean Lenning, held a 9-6 lead against Luis Moreno in the tiebreaker in the semifinals there at the Plummer Bash. Double faulted at 9-6. Luis Moreno came back in and ran out the game and matched with 5 consecutive points. And it was Luis Moreno who established himself as the player to beat on the race Pro Tour. If Sean Lenning doesn't double fault there, Dave, maybe we're talking about him. Although Sean Lenning is the #1 ranked player in the world right now.
5 serving 14.
5-14. Dave Chapman going to that sidearm serve. Now I believe he's going to go to a fish shot here. It's going to try to, nope, overhand 2-wall.
You were thinking he was going to go with the New York Z.
Gosh, look at Sean extend for that ball. Unbelievable get right there from Sean Lenning.
And doesn't even have to dive for that. That's a winning shot against almost anybody as Dave Chapman peppers the right corner, but Sean Lenning is on top of it.
Here's a replay of that shot right there. Look at that shot from Sean Lenning. That replay brought to you by Simple Green.
That is an example there, though, Dave, of Dave Chapman not really being able to explode forward. I think you would have had that get from Sean Lenning.
If we were doing rally scoring, well, I'll just wait till this is over with and we'll explain it.
Oh, unbelievable there.
And Dave Chapman.
And he actually hit the ball well.
Dave Chapman gets Sean Lenning out. Sean was serving for game if we were doing rally scoring right
So
there.
Sean hasn't had many side outs then, is what you're saying.
The score would be 11-20, and that ball sounded like it just broke. The score would be 11-20 right now with Dave Chapman serving if we were doing rally scoring, but we're not completely done with that yet. The ball was not broken.
Nice left there from Dave Chapman.
Dave Chapman scoring a point.
Six, serving 15. Short.
Dave goes with a reverse, and it's short. That ball cut up just a little bit.
Do you like, Dave, when the referee calls point or side out after the rally ends?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that watch back home, and they're able to just track the audio. If they hear what the referee is saying, it helps out just a little bit. And that would have been the game in rally scoring.
15, serving 6.
So, Dave, every game that we've tracked in rally scoring would have ended in under 17 minutes. And I believe the referee has to call a hinder there.
Sorry. Next time I call it sooner.
Okay. Like for a referee to have called that immediately to reduce the risk of injury as Sean Lenning jumped over Dave. That could have been a sprained ankle or some kind of weird injury. And that's a good get there from Dave. And you see it right there. I guess not much the referee could do as Dave Chapman.
I didn't call it. I didn't call it soon enough, Dave. Sorry. I didn't hear you call it here at all. Okay, I'll be louder.
Well, I agree with Dave. Sean has to make some sort of effort.
He did make an
Yeah,
effort, but he
no,
tripped over him
I
on
don't
his
think-
way up.
I think Dave thought that Sean was taking the shot. The only reason Sean kept going is because he knows the players can't call their own hinders.
Well, the referee did say hinder. He just said it so quietly that nobody heard it.
He said it at about the time Sean made contact with that ball. He should have said it as soon as Sean Lenning made contact and nearly tripped on Dave Chapman.
Well, it's just hard to tell what's going to happen. I mean, if that ball would have checked up, came out toward the middle of the court, and Sean tripped, you would have turned around and said, why didn't the referee let him play for that ball?
But that actually is what I consider to be a safety issue. I don't want to see players jumping over one another. A lot of bad things can happen there, Dave. This isn't football.
Score is 15-6.
Second serve.
And Dave finally finds the roof there on the return of serve, although it wasn't one of his best fists to the ceilings as it popped up off that right side wall.
And there's a timeout being called here courtside, and we too in the booth will take a timeout. We'll be back in just about 60 seconds. Stick around here at racefor8.com. And we are back live here in Tucson, Arizona for the conclusion of game number 2 between Dave Chapman and Sean Lenning. My name is Dave Vincent alongside David Fink. We have more handball action coming up today. After this one, there will be I believe, a women's semifinals match, Dave, and I know you can't wait for that.
I actually don't announce pro-am, so unfortunately you won't be seeing me.
Well, this is not a doubles. This is an actual pro match.
I'll have to hear about the participants there.
Surprised you don't know already.
I actually do know that Tracy Davis is playing Biddy Binnigan and Ashley Moeller is playing Jen Hinman. So yes, I know who's playing in every division. Now this timeout is extending just slightly beyond the 2 minutes, but I have to say, Dave, I'm very impressed with the players.
Well, it was an actual glove change there.
I know, I have it at 2 minutes and 23 seconds.
It started off as a 60-second timeout that evolved into a 2-minute glove change.
Okay.
And there's a short ball not called by anybody.
Both agree?
But, you know, the players, they've really taken.
That ball
He's-
was clearly short, Dave.
Oh, they called it short.
Oh, okay, I get it.
But these players, they're really doing what they can to take this sport to the next level. You see them taking all the points that we discussed very seriously. The timeouts now are
15, serving.
very much regulated. We asked the players to yell more. I took care of that. Unfortunately, I'm on the back courts.
You took care of that for everybody, actually.
It's true.
There's a side out here with Chapman serving.
Serving 15.
6 serves 15. Tonight, the finals will air in Tucson, Arizona at 6:30 p.m. That's Mountain Time. And barring some kind of major comeback or injury, my gosh, that is a great rally there from Dave Chapman, who feels that he's not too far away from Sean Lenning now.
That was just an absolutely unbelievable rally from both guys there as Dave Chapman pushing himself to the brink. Watch Dave Chapman here. He sprints and covers 25 feet right there. Now he's on a 40-foot sprint. So Dave Chapman, doing wind sprints in there. Absolutely unbelievable effort. And if you ever questioned his heart, and I don't think many would, it's about as big as anyone in sports, as he just refuses to yield. There's a lesson there, Dave, that
I thought this could be short.
Point.
He might come to us. Doesn't.
Sean, no.
We're going to go to replay here in the booth. I thought I saw it short.
I actually let you handle most of the replays, Dave. I just send the message.
I have great eyesight, and I know you don't. So let's go to the webcast van on the serve only. Let's see what happens here. Here's the replay from Dave Chapman. You can see it on the high-definition screen that we have. Here's the serve, hits the front wall, comes down, and short, easy short. That ball's hitting black. Go back. There it is right there. Short by 2 inches, maybe more.
Even I could see that one, Dave.
Yeah, even with your bad eyes. That ball was short. That's a successful appeal.
Replay shows that it was a short ball. Yes. 7.
It's almost like Sean Lenning's more concerned about the Vegas odds than he is about winning this. He wants that score to come off the scoreboard like he's able to see it somehow on the live broadcast. He goes, get that score down. That goes back to 7, right?
Well, there are guys, Dave, watching in the front row on their iPhones and laptops, and he can see it.
Look at that power right there from Sean Lenning. It takes a lot to load up like that. Twist your body and load up.
Incredible shot. Really is unbelievable.
He actually had his feet facing the wrong direction, like he was going to take it with his right, and then turns around and torques his body and still gets all that power into it.
I think Dave now finally kind of loosening up, and he's starting to move. And he's actually very competitive here. It might be too late for him, but you know, we've seen Dave make some unbelievable comebacks in the past. In fact, he trailed 20-13 against Sean Lenning in the national final and came back and won that game.
And then Sean Lenning just blows that ball right past Dave Chapman.
But that's kind of my concern, Dave, with the rally scoring. If someone does build a big lead, say 19 to 10 or 20 to 13, it's impossible to come back from that in rally scoring. I mean,
Unless
the game is
unless you
over.
have a run, some type of run up in the court that might develop better serves.
Well, to me, it's impossible to beat another pro player with rally scoring with a 20 to 10 or 20 to 12 lead. Now, I'm not saying that it's probable that it can happen without the rally scoring, but it's certainly possible. And I just don't think, Dave, that we'll see those comebacks. And as you know, Dave, in sports, it's all about how you handle the pressure. Now, certainly there will be pressure as games are tight. I just don't see a lot of pressure when you do build a lead. You can just sort of hang on.
Hold it.
I think that's an unnecessary call. Sean had a big advantage there.
16 serving 7.
16 serves 7. Now, if we were doing rally scoring in this game, it would have resulted in a Sean Lenning win at 14 minutes and 40 seconds, 21 to 12, and right now it's 16 to 7. Somewhat relative. And in the first game, I can't read your writing, but I believe it was 21 to 8 would have been the score in rally scoring, and it ended up being 21 to 8 as the actual score. 21 to 4 was the score.
That's right. Nice get there from Dave, but it's a big setup for Sean Lenning, and he finds the bottom board. Dave's saying that skipped. It actually didn't, though.
Now these guys are
17.
pretty friendly now, 17 to 7. Dave Chapman has invited Sean Lenning to one of his Durango camps, and Sean Lenning had better remarks from the camp goers when it comes to the exit interviews than he did for himself. And he said, what the heck is going on here? Sean Lenning's my new man. Sean Lenning's loved by everyone. If you ever come in contact with Sean Lenning, fans and players alike love the guy. He's fun, he has a great sense of humor, and he knows a lot about handball.
19 serving 7.
19 serves 7.
Dave, while you were promoting the Sean Lenning bandwagon there, it was Sean Lenning just ripping a laser down the right side wall for yet another ace.
Now here it is, Sean Lenning 1 point away for a bid at the finals here, just like the HBC2 where he played in the finals.
Well, Sean Lenning's very comfortable on this court. He's comfortable on any court, Dave, but he's vying for his second consecutive pro championship on this court in 6 months.
Well, he loves the concrete here. And there it is. Sean gets that crack on the final serve and defeats Dave Chapman 21 to 4, 21 to 7. We will have another match coming up right around the corner. For Dave Fink and Linda Manning, as well as Omar Lemus, my name is Dave Vincent. You stick around, more live webcast action after the replay here, brought to you by First Star Sports.